Hello everyone, I'm Lady Calamere and welcome to my channel. And today I'm doing the 29th video presentation on my YouTube, and it will be on the Norse goddess Jotun Skadi. Skadi, she's pronounced Skadi because here's how she's spelled: S-K-A and the curved D, that's actually a letter, and I forgot the name of the letter, but it's a curved D, so it'll be the. And the same thing the way Odin is spelled, O-D-I. So you got O-D, then you have this D, then I-N. So Odin. Anyways, we'll get this out of the way. We have a wonderful picture of her. Beautiful. Perfect. From the Dark Goddess Oracle cards. We have a beautiful statue. And here, Skadi is a very powerful goddess. She's a death dealer, among other things. She's a goddess of the cold and the hunt. And here are her runes. And they are Awas, Isa, and Hagalaz. She is the strength of the cold. She loves the dark skies, the overcast gray skies in the night. She is the goddess of winter. The day of celebration is definitely Yuletide, the winter solstice. So she rules, she loves the dark half of the year, when the days grow shorter and the nights grow longer. Powerful is she, and beautiful. And yes, she is a dark goddess, but she's not a crone. She's beautiful, youthful, and strong. So she is a death dealer. She does deal with death. She's not concerned like Hela is with the soul of what happens to it, where the soul goes. She's just about the acts and the arts of dealing death to her. That's what she does. Now, she is the goddess of the hunt, but not the hunt for sport, for pleasure, for pain. Not, look at my mink coat. You know how many minks died? I really don't care because I'm a spoiled bitch. She's not into that. Okay? So if you're going to hunt for pleasure or sport, don't bother calling Skadi to help you. Her hunt is about the hunt of necessity. The hunt for food, clothing, the necessary clothing to keep you warm in the cold winter months. She deals with having the hunt because of using it for tools, especially back in the day when every part of the animal was used and nothing or very little went to waste. So here we have a glass of ice, because that's her element. Ice, frost, and snow. And snow is a bit different from ice because snow is 80% air and 20% water. That's why it's not wise to drink it unless you melt it, to eat it unless you melt it. If you're stuck out in the open, cold road, or something happens to your car and no one's around to help you and all you have is snow, it's better to melt it and then drink it so you have water. She has her own hall that she inherited from her father called Reimheim, which means noisy hall. Who is her mother? It's not talked about in law, it's lost, so we don't know. But her father is Reimheim. So her father's father, her grandfather, is the frost giant, and she is of the frost giant stock, Olvalde. And Olvalde means the emperor of ale. That means something, because ale and mead, all this was used for hospitality and feasting and celebrating. So ale is very important. So we don't know a lot about him, but his oldest son, which is her father, is the Hazi, and the Hazi is known, his name is thought to mean water. Now he has two younger brothers, Ide and Gong. And then we do know when Alvalde died, we do know that they had an immense wake. And a major part of his ale was used. So this is good to know about her family. So Skadi, her name, means shadow, deals with shade, dark. Now it also has some roots in like scathe, the word scathe, or to harm. And she does deal with that. Now Scandinavia, there was debates. Is Scandinavia named after Skadi? Or is Skadi named after Scandinavia? I like to believe that Scandinavia was named after the goddess Skadi. Now she's a Jotun, but she was later accepted by the Aesir and the Vanir. Sorry, I didn't roll my R's. And all the R's are rolled, actually. So like Thor and Aesir and Freya. So anyways, she's accepted because of her marriage. And even though it was short, she did divorce. She also bore Odin some children. One of them is Semming, which they became the Jarls of the king, the royalty of Norway. The children of Skadi and Odin. So that's important. But also because of her deeds, and also because they respected her. And the respect that she earned. And it wasn't given lightly. So even after her divorce, she maintained the honor of being with the Aesir and the Vanir. The Aesir and the Vanir. Sorry, guys. It's late where I'm at. So what does she do? She's a death dealer. We know she's a hunter. She deals with helping women become strong. She is a warrior. And she also deals with weregild. That's a type of reparation of getting what you owed for a harm, a wrong that was done to you, and getting payment back. So also she deals with winter. She's also called Skidis, which is the goddess of skiing. So she deals with winter sports, skiing, snow sledding, justice, getting what's yours. She deals with also dark magic. Yes, oh yes, she deals with cursing. And oh yeah, she's powerful. She's a powerful witch. She's even called the snow witch, the ice witch. So she does deal with that. But you can use her for good, of course. But you can use her for bad. And she's a goddess of vengeance. The goddess of vengeance. So she's also a goddess that's been betrayed and hurt. So those who have been betrayed or hurt can call upon her. And she also deals with inheritance, because she got her inheritance from her father after what happened to the Hazi of how he died, and how she not only had her own riches, but she got the riches from her father and her estate and his estate. Threimheim. So she's also the goddess of the wilderness, but the noisy wilderness, not the quiet wilderness. She likes the howls of the wolf, but she deals with the wilderness and the mountains. She loves the mountains. So if you were lost in the wilderness, she's one that you may want to call upon. So some trees and incense and oils that you can use for her is myrrh, dragon's blood, pine, fir, the fir trees, spruce, yew tree, willows tree, juniper, elm, blackthorn. Her day is definitely good day for her is Saturday. Some crystals that, in my opinion, would work with her: clear quartz, fire and ice quartz, nirvana quartz, K2 stones, the K2 stones, snowy white quartz. Great for her. Her colors: white, gray, and some associate her with blood red or crimson. Her animals are the wolf, especially the white wolf. She rides a wolf, and her sled is pulled by a wolf. And some people like to associate the owl with her, especially the snowy owl. Now, in the stories, they say that the ice witch rides a wolf, Skadi, a white wolf, a giant wolf, and the corpse is in its mouth, and it eats the corpse, and then she gives another corpse, and it eats the corpse, and she gives it another corpse, and it eats the corpse like a corpse grinder. Actually, that's one of I like Cannibal Corpse, and that's one of the musicians. He took the name Corpse Grinder. So, okay, symbols, things that you may want to put on her altar. But her symbols and things that she likes are mountains, skis, ice skates, winter sceneries, skins of your hunt, like things that are gotten ethically, like rabbits, like deer, rabbit, stuff like that. Other things that she likes are definitely snow, ice, images of snowflakes, a glass full of ice, her trees, arrowheads, bullets, knives, arrows, bows and arrows. That's also good for her. Offerings. Martial arts training. She's a goddess of all martial arts. Learning how to hunt ethically. Giving aid to any organization that's going to help animals of the wildlife and protect the wildlife. Like Greenpeace also, that would be good for her. So, offerings too. Game bird. Offerings of meat from your hunt. Vodka, mead, ale, good nice beer, good beer. People have given her, what's it called, ice blue mint schnapps, vodka, of course, chocolate. Chocolate's good. And ice. Maybe even some flavored ices. That'd be cool. Anything nice like a cold dessert. Things you do not want to do. Hunting irresponsibly. Sloth and gluttony. She also does not want to be anywhere near Loki. Not one bit. And yeah, she did have a tryst with Loki, a love tryst, but Loki kind of like fucked that up and pushed her away. Now, if you worship Loki, that's fine. If you're a Lokian, that's fine. You know, she may decide she wants to work with you. I know Lokians that do worship her and have a good relationship. I've heard of it too. So, also images of skulls are good for her. Skulls, I forgot that. And death, things of dealing with death. And of course, war and warriors. So if you have ancestors that are warriors, you can put them on your altar. Or your service medals. Thank you for serving. Things that she likes. If you're learning how to walk again. If you're a veteran that's suffering from PTSD, or if you lost your legs and you have prosthetic legs and you're learning to walk again, oh, she likes that. Offer that to her. Offer the pain, the blood, sweat, and tears, and the pain to her. Like, if you're just exercising, even just doing a little walking, even if it just means, if you're having trouble walking, you're disabled, and just walking, just around your table a little bit, do it for her. You can give that as an offering. She's a goddess of warriors, so if you're serving in the military, or if you have children or family, you can ask Skadi to give them the strength, the fortitude, and the protection. She does enjoy warriors, especially women warriors. And yes, she's more attuned towards women and protection of women and women learning to defend themselves. So if a woman was, abused in a relationship and she's taking martial arts or self-defense classes, or even, learning, how to use a gun, the firearm, knowing how to responsibly use it, that's a great offering to her. Yes, firearms. So she's a take no shit goddess. And a sacrifice that was done to her back in the day is they would take a man and they would cut off his genitals and push him forward and that was like a sacrifice of killing him that way. And that's actually a story of what Loki did for her, and in honor of what Loki did for her is to make her laugh. After her father died as part of Rare Guild, he tied his testicles to a rope and then tied it to a beard of a goat, and they had a tug of war in which, the goat pulled off his junk and he fell into her lap and he made her laugh, and she did laugh. So she is a stern, quite serious goddess, so people try to make her laugh, which is a good thing, to make her smile. So she deals with loss, and she teaches you how to deal with loss and to get on with life and get on with things and to live, to grieve a parent, to grieve a loved one. So she's a goddess of strength and power and fortitude. And a goddess who even prophesies what happened with the Loki when they had a war of words. Exactly what she's going to do. And as she said it, what she said came true. So we see prophecy with her. The Skadi has powers of prophecy. And believe me, do not steal anything from her altar. If you have an offering and you want to later on, like, take it, you ask. You ask. And I know people that are stupid enough to take things off altars without asking anyone and just eating it. In fact, I think this would make Skadi laugh. I had this asshole landlord way back in the day, and he would just take things off people's altars. He didn't care. He did this to a friend of mine. And what we did was we took chocolate and we got like the hottest chocolate we could, and we rubbed like hot peppers on it, and we wrapped it up in the wrapper, and I said, just wait. He goes and eats it, and he was burning. And I told my friend exactly what to say. And I said, I prophesize what he's going to do. He's going to eat this chocolate. I know he is. And he's going to burn. This is what you say. Good. I hope you burned your fucking mouth off. Teaching people lessons like that. You don't steal from your friends. And you don't steal from your tenants. And you don't steal from your deities, especially Skadi, because some deities may forgive you. You owe her something. And if you don't give her what you owed, then she'll take it. Just remember that. Skadi don't play that shit. Respect for her is earned. It's a privilege, not a right. Yes. So she is a stern goddess. She had many lovers. And like I said, she bore children, Saming, especially to Odin, who became royalty in Scandinavia. The Urals. And she had many lovers. One, she had Loki, she had Ullr, Odin, Njord, who she was married to temporarily, but it just didn't work out. So those are the things to keep in mind. She was also, when she married Njord, she took on the responsibility of being a stepmother to Freya and Frey. She even became like a mother to them. She took that responsibility and she took it seriously. And she does her job very well. And she's proud of it. She's a goddess of pride in that way. Proud of her accomplishment, not this spoiled, rich little bitch pride. And yes, she is a rich goddess. She not only had her own wealth, but she amassed the wealth of her father. Because her father, Thiassi, very rich. So Thiassi, of course, we know that the spirits goes on and things change. Energy is not destroyed. It changes and transforms. The goddess of the icy heart and the icy realm. She is pale-skinned. Beautiful. Well, that's what she's described, pale skin with blonde hair. Here they have her hair dark, but blonde hair. Here we see her holding fire here and the arrows. Now, I want to say something. I'm going to clear this up. There are people that are using Skadi in their neo-Nazi stuff. I'm not into neo-Nazi. I'm not. And not everyone who worships Skadi is. or runes were before this neo-Nazi nonsense. Not into it. Not impressed by them. So I'll probably get some hate comments about it. Whatever. So, Skadi, let's get into some wonderful stories. So we gotta go, where do we begin? Let's begin at the beginning. Odin, Honir, and Loki were traveling through land, and they were traveling, and they went into the Hazi's land. And they got themselves some, like, cow, I believe. And they killed it and they cooked it. And they were trying to cook it, and they looked at it and it should have been cooked. It was hours now, and they're hungry. Odin noticed a stick on the floor. It wasn't an ordinary stick. It was a wand. A magic wand. Odin knew some fuckery was going on. It was the Hazi who cast a spell. And the Hazi looked up in the tree, and there was an eagle, a big eagle. And the eagle said, I'll allow you to cook this meat, because it was his. It was on his land. He had every right. They're on his land. If you agree to share it with me. So there were 4 now that's going to eat this. And he said, fine. So he allowed to cook. But when he took his share, he didn't mind you, he's a giant. The Jotnir, well, they called him a giant. That's how Jotun are translated roughly into giant. And people like Jackson Crawford, if you ever looked him up, is not too impressed with the translation. But anyways, be that as may, he took the best portions, and he took more than what would be his share. And as he was flying away, Loki took the stick, thinking it was an ordinary stick, and hit the Hazi with it. And the stick stuck to the Hazi. And it stuck to Loki's hand. And he flew and flew and flew with the Hazi, being banged off every rock, every mountain, every land, every tree, to finally, after maybe about an hour, he begged the Hazi. And the Hazi said, I'll stop on one condition. And he said, what? Give me Iduna and her apples. And Loki wasn't going to do it. He really wasn't. But he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. And a stick. So he had to agree. So the Hazi let him go. So part of his agreement, he had a plan. So one day he went to Iduna. Saw her sitting with her apples. Hey, Iduna! What is it, Loki? Guess what? What? I saw apples that were just as beautiful, if not more glorious than yours. Really? Do you want to see them? Of course. Well, you know what? Let's take your apples and let's compare them. Being innocent, she did. Now, these are not her ordinary apples, so she gives these out willingly. And these apples are the apples of youth and immortality that she gives to Odin, Thor, and the other gods. So he got her in a clearing where the Hazi told him to be, and the Hazi turned himself into an eagle, snatched up Iduna, took her away to his home. Heimheim. Locked her up. Found out the apples were useless because she has to give them willingly. But he decided to keep her. Why not? The gods are going to get old now. And so they did. And then they realized the fuckery was Loki's fault. So, of course, Thor comes up to Loki. Thor grabs him, like a cartoon character, strangling him, holding him by his neck. What did you do, Loki? Where is Iduna? And he said, look, I'll fix it. Which he does, but I need Thor, before I need Freya's cloak. And they were like, oh God. And Thor said, if you betray me, I will kill you. Granted, I will kill you. Pretty much. So Loki, to put on, so he believed Thor's threats. So, and Thor wasn't threatening it. He was promising. So he turned himself into a falcon, flew into Thahazi's hall, rescued the Duna, turned the Duna into a nut, and in one talon, talon he had her, and in the apples in the other, and he was flying away. But they had a plan. See, because Loki knew he was going to be chased down by Thahazi. He knew he was fast and strong and powerful. They had a plan. So Thahazi spied him and saw it, and he knew it was him because he saw the glint of that so-called nut in the box of apples. So the chase was on. Dogfight, almost. So. But Loki did not want to fight him. So Loki passes the wall of Asgard, and then a great flame came up, and Thahazi went right through the fire and burnt to a crisp and died. And Aguduna was rescued. The gods were happy and had their apples, but it wasn't over yet. Skadi found out. Didn't know exactly who was responsible, but she knew exactly who, but she knew the Aesir was responsible. So she, by herself, armed to the teeth, with her glorious weapons, rode into Asgard. And she stood at the walls of Asgard and wanted to fight them. She demanded Wurgil, and they offered her money. They offered her riches and jewels, but she did not want it. She wanted to kill. She'll take them out. She'll take as many Aesir out as she can before she dies. She's like, we're talking Xena warrior princess here. Yeah, she ain't going out without taking some down. And Thor knew he could take her on, but he was even impressed by her. So they said, so they came to a bargain. What do you want? First of all, I want to smile because I've been depressed. Make me laugh. And I want a husband. And she was really hoping to get Baldur, the beautiful god, the son of Odin, and Frigga. So a deal was struck. We'll try to make you laugh, and we'll give you a husband, but you have to judge by the feet and nothing else. Basically, they're gonna be hiding behind like a door, and she just has to look at the feet. So she agreed. So first thing, Loki was making jokes and making faces at her, and he couldn't make her laugh. And he was doing his damnness, shape-shifting and, telling story, acting like Looney Tunes. So finally, he had an idea. And here where we get the sacrifice of castration from. He tied his junk to a rope, tied the other end of the rope to the beautiful goat, and he had a tug of war. The goat wins. His testicles come off. He's bleeding and falling into her lap. And she smiled, and he smiled, and they were happy. Then comes her picking her husband. So she looked at their feet, and she saw the most beautiful feet ever. And she said, nothing is ugly on Baldur. She picked Njord. She wasn't too happy, but she kept her end of the bargain. They married. Wasn't the most happiest marriage, and they divorce and they go their separate ways. And how and why Njord, she spent some time at his place. She wasn't too happy, and he spent more time at her place, in which he couldn't sleep. None of them could sleep or get any rest. They had bitter arguments. However, they agreed to separate. And she treated Freya and Frey as her stepchildren. And they really liked her. So they agreed to part amicably and go their separate ways. And she got to keep her status as goddess. Now, one would think that Gehazi, being a good father that he is, deliberately, in a way, sacrificed himself so that now she has a say with the Aesir. Now she's been elevated. And then not only that, to bear the children, she even bared the children, some like few children for Odin. Now, all his inheritance was hers. She has his money, his gold, and his hall. That's a good father, huh? He sacrificed himself for her daughter. Another thing of what happened is when they were having a celebration and party and the gods gathered together, and the gods and goddesses, and the mead was flowing and laughter and revelry, Loki crashes the party and there was a fight. And one of the things he called, like, he got into words with Skadi. You see, he called her a slut and everything. And she reminded him that she has many sanctuaries and her places. So we already see that she was worshipped. She had sanctuaries. And she told him, mind what you say, or I will bind you in a dark, dank cave with the cold guts of your son, and I will place a venomous serpent up the top of your head. Well, guess what happened? She did that. That's the story I will talk about with Loki, but he was bound by the sons of his guts. Narvi. The two sons of Sigyn were killed, and he was bound to the cave. And the guts were turned magically into like strong chains, and she put a venomous serpent above his head to drip poison upon him. Venom, which caused him to writhe in pain. Which is the story of how they get earthquakes, when he writhes in pain. So, I'm not going to get into the story of Loki and Sigyn. That would be for another presentation. So anyways, she did have a love affair with Loki, and in which he took seriously, but then he discarded her. And she felt betrayed. And Loki realized his mistake. But, yeah, Skadi was not impressed. She was angry. And hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. So it's okay if you worship Loki, just don't worship him near her. Don't, like, put her right next to him. So we can see that she's cool with the Aesir. And the Aesir are cool with her, and she's counted among the council of the gods and goddesses. So, other things about her. Is that she does have an aloof attitude. She does have a cold attitude. So one needs to work with that. And it's a good idea to make her smile. Some people do offer blood to her. I don't personally do any animal sacrifice. But you can also prick your finger with a diabetic lancet. Be careful. I have to be careful, as I have to put that, I have to tell you to be careful when cutting yourself. So you can offer her some of your blood that way. You can offer your gym exercise to her. So when you're doing, like, say, working out, like building up muscles or aerobics, you can offer that to her. You can offer your training in the military to her. So what's that called? I can't remember. All your training. So if you're going into battle, you can offer that to her too and ask her for your protection as well. That's a great offering to Skadi. Skadi can teach you magic and how to stand for yourself. She's not she's not into all, like, I don't want to say namby-pamby. But she does deal with vengeance magic, offense and defense, and getting revenge. And sometimes even if someone really betrayed you, to even do spiteful shit. She's a goddess of survival. And those who are learning survival skills, she can help you. So those who are survivalists out in the wilderness, they have one of these survival things in the Weather Channel. Oh, I can't remember his name. He's the guy with long hair. He teaches you how to survive. So those are the good things to learn. She's really into that. So music definitely for her is military music. And of course, screaming loud metal. I'm into that. So the really fast stuff. Her time of the moon is definitely dark moon, or new moon, dark moon. We're not talking about the crescent, we're talking about the dark moon. Nighttime is a good time for her. Snowstorms, she deals with snowstorms. The chill, the frozen night. So, keeping your oaths and your promises is a good thing too. Now, I understand she does deal with divorce. She did have a divorce with Njord. But again, that's all within the, that you can do. If you can marry someone, if you're allowed to divorce, then you can divorce. Which I think everyone should be able to divorce if they need to. Because if you're not happy, there's no reason why you should put yourself in a painful position. She isn't the type to stand by your man no matter what. And no, she's more for stand for yourself. Sometimes you got to take care of yourself and take care of you. One of the things, she's also called an Ettin Bride. So Ettin does deal with the Jotun. There's not a word for Ettin. Like I said, she is one of the frost giants. And people like to say, oh, the frost giants are just dopey. No, they're not. So, like I said, there is a debate about Scandinavia. Did she lend her name for the Scandinavia? Supposedly is named Skadi's Island. Skadi's Island. Now, did she lend her name to the island, or was the island's name? Did the island have that name first and given to Skadi? Because Scandinavia is also considered like a dangerous island because of their coast is considered like very dangerous. So Yeah. So then there's that. So I like to believe, like many others, that Scandinavia got its name from her. So please excuse me, I don't write any notes for my presentations. And anyone, I used to hold presentations once a week, and everyone knows I don't use notes. And it used to be a lot longer. But for videos, I try to keep it like a little bit less than, like, if I go over an hour, maybe about 6 minutes, but I try to keep it less than an hour. Okay, other things that she does deal with. She can teach about star lore, astrology, astronomy. Two different things. She teaches you about geography. She knows a lot about maps. I know a lot of people don't use paper maps these days, but some people do, and she teaches about that. She teaches about protecting you and yours. And she can help with that. Oh, and believe me, she can be very brutal. Very brutal, but beautiful. Dangerous beauty. Like Xena, Warrior Princess. Or Callisto. So she can teach you how to protect you and yours fiercely. Winter storms are also when it's storming. The snowstorms and blizzards are a great time to call her. So if you're having hailstorms and sleet, please stay safe. But that's a time, also a good time to throw a bloat to her. Bloat meant blood, but it was like a ritual, a bloat. You could throw rituals or use her in spells at that time, but you could do it during the day too. I mean, even if you live in a tropical place or a subtropical place, it's fine. Even if you live in a city. And remember, she can be very demanding. And some people do find her sometimes demanding or very forceful. But that's just who she is. Just remember that. So she is beautiful, and she is powerful, and she is strong. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video on Skadi, please give me a like. If you didn't like it, then give me a thumbs down. But if you like this video, please give me a like. Subscribe to my channel so you'll never miss a video. And you'll be alerted on the little bell on your YouTube. And share this video with, on your Facebook, with your friends and family, and on groups. Thank you for watching. Praise be to the old gods and goddesses. Blessed be.